What's going on YouTube? Zapp here, and I'm here to talk to you guys about another one of my more anticipated games of 2013. This time we're going to be talking about Dead Space 3. Now if you've been following my page for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of the Dead Space franchise. From start to finish, front to back, I'm a huge fanboy of Dead Space and everything about Dead Space. Except for Ignition, I wasn't really too big of a fan on it. I appreciated it, but I wasn't really that big of a fan of it. But still a fanboy nonetheless. So, with this video, I'm going to be covering some details that you may or may not have known about Dead Space. And I'm going to go and give you guys a little bit more insight into those details. So it's details within details, and I'm going to disclose them with you. It's like Dead Space Inception, Spaceception, whatever. Anyway, moving on. First and foremost, we're going to cover the consoles and the platforms that the game is going to be released on. So, it's going to be released on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. If you own any of those three platforms, you're going to be playing Dead Space. So, unfortunately, if you own the Wii U, it's not going to be finding its way over to that platform. I'm sorry. But, those are just the ropes. Now, this is regarding the release date. Alright? Or, excuse me, the release dates for Dead Space 3. Now you have to listen carefully, all right? Because I don't want to confuse you. And if I still did confuse you, I'll probably write it down in the description for you guys to check it out yourself. But these are the release dates. For North America, it's being released on PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3 on February 5th of this year. All right, February 5th on all three platforms in North America. That's the release date. If you live in Australia and you want to get this game on the PC, it's coming out February 7th. So 2 days after us, if you have it on PC, or if you have intentions of buying this game on PC and you live in Australia, it's coming out on the 7th. Now, if you live in Europe, it comes out on all three platforms on February 8th. Okay, if you live in Europe, it comes out February 8th. And if you live in Australia and you want to get it on Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3, it's coming out February 15th. Alright? Those are the release dates for it. I know it's a little bit crazy. I'm not sure why they separated the PC version from the console version release for Australia, but that's just how it goes. I don't know. Australia is strange. You can't even play Mortal Kombat 9 over there. It's, I don't know. Whatever. But moving on to details about the game itself and the mechanics. One of the biggest changes between this Dead Space and its predecessors is the addition of co-op campaign mode. You can actually play through the story mode with a buddy side by side. Now, there was a huge uproar amongst the Dead Space community about it. They were afraid that having co-op would take away from the survival horror aspect. You know, having someone to watch your back and, you know, take you out of the experience that made Dead Spaces 1 and 2 so successful and take away the scare factor is a legitimate gripe. Personally, I thought the same thing when I heard about it. I was like, well, having a co-op buddy would actually take away, it would make it feel more like Resident Evil 6, alright, or Resident Evil 5. And you know, everyone was saying, oh well, you can play a single player, and you know, people were still worried about how there would still be an AI bot next to you. However, Visceral went ahead and threw that curveball and said, no, we made this game so that you have the option of playing by yourself or with a buddy. There's no AI bot involved in that at all. So if you want to play a single player, you will be put in a single player experience similar to Dead Space 1 and 2. There will be no AI bot accompanying you. However, if you want, you can play a co-op and have two people roll side by side. And I think that that's an absolutely brilliant move, because I know that there are people who have actually fought off buying the two previous Dead Space games just because they don't like being frightened throughout their entire time playing the game. And having the co-op option allows people to get their hands on the game and have a little bit less of a tense experience. But by taking out the AI bot, or the thought or concept of an AI bot when playing single player, gives all the other Dead Space enthusiasts that same sense of horror and tenseness that they've grown to love about the Dead Space franchise. All right, so if you don't want co-op, you don't have to play co-op. There will be no bot. Point blank period. All right. Another big change, and this is one that actually bothers me a little bit, is the addition of universal ammo. Now, one of the things that I enjoyed so much about Dead Space, and even Resident Evil, was the fact that you needed to collect specific ammo for specific weaponry, right? I mean, yeah, you have the shop that you can buy all that stuff in. However, when you're out there and you're doing like these long extended missions and whatnot, and you're fighting off necromorph after necromorph, using various weaponry, you start to lose ammo in all your guns, right? And one of the best things about Dead Space is that sometimes you won't have the necessary weapon. Like, let's say there's a necromorph and the best way to kill him is with a flamethrower, right? Well, you're out of flamethrower ammo, so you're forced to improvise, and let's say you use a pulse rifle instead. Now, it might not be as effective as the flamethrower, but it's all you've got. It's the best you've got, you know? By taking away that aspect of of separate ammo and making all the ammo universal, it's ridiculous, and it just completely makes the game similar to like a Gears of War experience. Because you know how in Gears of War, in the campaign mode, there's those blue ammo boxes or those red ammo boxes, and when you pick them up, it gives you ammo in every single gun that you're carrying. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want specific ammo counts or specific ammo types for the different guns that I'm going to be using in this game. We'll see how that plan works out for them, but I don't like the sound of it at all. I think it's ridiculous, and it doesn't feel like Dead Space. It doesn't feel like Dead Space to me. Another difference is the cover system, the implementation of a cover system. And a lot of people are still baffled by this as well, but I've actually come to accept the thought of a cover system in Dead Space. The reason why there was no cover system in Dead Spaces 1 or 2 was because you didn't really have an adversary that was really clever. In Dead Space 3, you're actually going to be going against human enemies as well as the necromorphs. So you've got people who will take cover and will shoot guns at you, who will try to flush you out of your cover and do all this other stuff, rather than having a bunch of necromorphs come straight at you. You know what I mean? So it only makes sense to implement a cover system so that you actually have more of a chance of surviving. All right. So I know a lot of people are still upset about it. They feel as though it's turning from Dead Space, the survival horror game, into Resident Evil 7, but it's still got Dead Space in its roots. I can tell. Now another big change. Well, it's not really too big of a change, but another change is that they completely removed the multiplayer aspect that was in Dead Space 2. No competitive multiplayer. The only form of multiplayer in Dead Space 3 is the co-op campaign. I'm not really too sure how I feel about that. On one hand, I did enjoy Dead Space 2's multiplayer mode. However, I think that they just didn't put enough into it, and I thought that if they'd actually taken a little bit more time and put a little bit more focus into the multiplayer, that it could have actually been a really complete, solid multiplayer experience. But you know, they chose not to do that, and they're going to focus more on the single player and co-op aspects of Dead Space 3 rather than a multiplayer humans versus necromorphs experience. And I respect that. You know, it's not really that big of a loss, like I said, because it was really just an add-on feature for Dead Space 2, but no competitive multiplayer for Dead Space 3. It's fine with me. Let's see what we got here. There's also going to be beta missions. Now, the folks over at Visceral Games decided that they wanted to make Dead Space 3 a little bit more of an immersive experience, expansive experience, rather than just it being linear. You know, you can actually travel to other certain areas and take on side jobs. By no means is it going to be Grand Theft Auto, where you can just completely deviate from the main plot and do whatever the hell you want. You can't just roam off like 50,000 feet and do whatever the hell you want. But it does give people more things to do in the Dead Space universe, rather than just following the blue line on the floor. So we actually have side jobs, side missions, side objectives that you can try and complete, and probably get rewards like ammo, nodes, armor, things of that nature. So we'll see how that works out. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for Dead Space? Did you guys learn anything from the video? Was this video helpful? Were you on the fence of buying Dead Space 3, and are you going to buy it now after watching this video? Are you more psyched up about it? Are you not liking the game more because of the news that you just heard? Let me know what you guys think about it. Me personally, I'm still stoked. Even despite some of the details I learned, I'm still stoked about the game. Can't wait. Still my number 2 pick for most anticipated game of the year. And I'll be back to talk to you guys about another game soon. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.